how would you know if you have a energy or a lower frequency energy on you? Because it seems like there could be a lot of them.
If you are concerned or even just interested in demons and astral entities, I have a master class that will illuminate that subject in ways that you have never heard before. In addition, I have developed and perfected a psychic shield meditation that is the most powerful meditation that you can do in terms of protecting your energetic body. It will be pinned in the comments below. Okay, Moody,
Moody.
um, jumping from one thing to the next, can't stay focused, self-destructive, uh, always on the defensive and having a superior attitude. So you're being manipulated. Those are some of the telltale signs. And then also being, and this is where it gets really tricky, and this is part of the psychics and the channelers. So because these entities exist in higher frequencies, they do have access to more than our physical sensory perceptions, which is a very narrow bandwidth, part of the local environment. Our body is attuned to and part of the local environment. So these entities are existing in slightly higher frequential realms. So therefore, they have access to more information. And so an entity or attachment will give you information that will make you feel psychic. They'll make you feel like you're getting access to information, and then you become very vain and very full of yourself,
Mm.
and then that gets emanated and it feeds on that. So it's this symbiotic relationship. So if we think that we know it all, if we think that we're always right, if we're very moody, if we can't stay focused, if we defend ourselves in a very attacking and demeaning way towards others, if we can't look at ourselves at all. So this is all protection mechanisms. And then the self-destructive behavior. Self-destructive behavior. So, and that can take the form of many different things, from drugs and alcohol to, getting ourselves involved with people that, there's not a lot of positivity that's going to come out from associating ourselves. Self-destructive behavior is right up there. And also, you'll just feel like you're not in control of yourself. You'll just be like, why am I feeling this?
Mm.
Like, I'm like, what is this about? And now we can get rid of them by raising. I did a whole class and a whole meditation on how to remove astral entities. But the shortest answer, without me giving you the prescriptive notes, is we have to raise our frequency, because they low frequency entities cannot attach itself within a high frequency environment. So as you raise your frequency, there's nothing they can do. So moodiness, self-destructive behavior, very vain, very full of themselves, can't look in the mirror, and very attacking.
Mm.
Very attacking. What's that, silver-tongued, or whatever that term is, really lashing out. And that's the entity protecting its food source.
Could they come to us in a deep meditation, or would it be they're coming to us when we're not, like, or are they just with us? Because the reason I ask this is I had a very spiritual experience. Like, it was a spiritual awakening experience, but I was doing a DMT breathing exercise, and I had a 5-dimensional pyramid with an eye on it following me around the room. And it seemed like the most loving energy I've ever experienced. And then it went into my pineal gland. Like, it just went in. And it was the weirdest thing ever. And then for weeks, I saw pharaohs and all this stuff. But I've heard people say that might have not been a good energy. And so I don't know. And I know this is kind of vulnerable to say in front of everybody, but like, could it be a bad energy? Could it be? I don't, if I don't really know.
Okay. Let's back up for 1 second on that, Kyle. Okay. So anytime we use a physical interface,
Hmm.
what does that mean? Okay, drugs, DMT, a pendulum, tarot, a crystal, an antibiotic. So anytime that we use a physical interface,
This was
Okay.
natural DMT, like natural.
That
Just so I don't know if that changes anything, like basically breathing to cause DMT to be released from my brain. But either way,
okay. Okay. So when it starts to come down to what is our intention? What are we trying to do? Because as we're trying and reaching out, we become vulnerable instead of going within. So we have to look at what is it that we're trying to achieve, because they entities or predatory energies will take advantage of the desire.
Hmm.
They take advantage of our desire, and then they manipulate and do things like you just described by taking advantage of, because we're not locked in our own power. We're not rooted directly in the I am. The I am is unshakable and unmovable completely,
Hmm.
right? So it's the ego mind that's reaching out to try to acquire, become, or achieve something. So we have to be really mindful about that. And to go back to physical interfaces, whether it's DMT or marijuana or crystals or tarot or pendulums, anytime we're using a physical interface, we're limited to the energies associated with the physical interface. There's nothing limited about your consciousness, it's God. But there are absolute limitations in terms of physical interfaces. So
Hmm.
we're always going to be selling ourselves short every time we use a physical interface. It's also representative of a reactionary and addictive type behavior of reaching out for something. I just got to get this, and I just got to have that, and I just get like it becomes addictive, that thinking that you need something outside of yourself to experience more of yourself.
Hmm.
So we have to be mindful about that. And that also just goes back to like the channeling and the reaching out and this and that and getting my pendulum. And those things are all permission slips, but they're also training wheels. And at some point, you have to realize there's a limitation in those things. And your mind has absolutely no limitation, none whatsoever. Does that make sense?
It does. And I just want to clarify, how do we clear negative energies just in case we have one? No,
Raise your frequency.
raise the frequency.
Yeah. So meditation,
Nice.
right, is one way to do that, right? So non-identification with the physical body,
Hmm.
right? Complete inner stillness and silence. Complete inner stillness and silence actually raises our frequency tremendously. Thinking is low frequency, emoting is low frequency. So we're in that state of clarity and non emotionality, which is doing nothing, but it's not. That doing nothing and action is taking place. The frequency is going up because you're starting to attune body mind to the I am. And so that's how you raise your frequency. And low frequency entities cannot stay within a high frequency environment. And that's part of how healing works as well. They work, they're similar, they're not the exact same thing, but they're similar.
It's been so amazing. Like it just feels so true. We have a lot of people on, but everything you said just really made me feel a lot of clarity into my own knowing, kind of affirmed what I already know, but you just made it really clear.
That if it doesn't make you feel lighter and freer, then it's not the truth.